What do you think are some of the best performances that you did do in 2021?
Oh my God, I barely worked last year. I'm so bad at timelines. I think I had a really good DP last year.
Okay.
And I think I also,
When you say I think, you mean you think it was last year, not the
Correct.
year before, not like you're not sure if it was good.
right.
Right, okay.
Yeah. It was pretty good. Last year, I think I just kind of shot a more variety of things instead of really like honing in something and like shining at anything. I worked a lot actually in 2020, and then I started climbing, and then this last year was just kind of back and forth between showing up to work and going climbing. And not that my performances were bad, but I think mentally I was so distracted that it's not a very bright memory. But I think my DP was shot last year for Perv City
And who was that with?
Ramon Namar and Michael Stefano. Yeah.
Awesome.
See how far I'm like,
Yeah. Two classics that
Yes.
we have shot a lot in the past. They've actually been around for so long that my mom used to shoot them.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. My mom shot Ramon when he was 18.
Oh my gosh.
I have pictures of him when he was like 18.
I have to see that from you later. But yeah, they're both great. I had never worked with Michael Stefano before. If you tell me I'm doing anal with Ramon, I'm like, cool. Like, do you want me to squirt? Like, what else do you want? Because
Yeah.
it's so, my body just knows that it's going to work because it's happened so many times somehow that it's always a really good scene. I'm able to really relax and get into it and be crazy and be a little wilder and have really high energy because I'm not like concerned that he's going to like move and slip out and hurt me or whatever.
Right. You're saying specifically with Ramon.
Specifically with Ramon, and then Michael Stefano, I trust. I feel like Claudio pairs people up really well for DPs.
Right.
And so I was just, it was in 2021. Yeah, I was just like really excited and ready for it.
What is it about working with someone like Ramon that makes like the scene go so well?
I think, at least with me, and I can't speak for other performers, but with me, he seems very intuitive of my reactions to him, where I never have to kind of hold him back or pull him in or even tap him really. Probably just because he's been doing it so long, he's just so aware of like the tiniest little adjustment I do, and then he adjusts further, and then it's great. And I think it's been like that since the first shoot I had with him. Plus, it's been like 7 times now or something. So like, it's just gotten better and better. And so it's just trustworthy. And I feel like anal for me, I have to be pretty like confident about it that day. Not because I'm worried about an accident, just I'm like, my butthole's really shy. It is. It takes a minute to warm up to people. And he's always just been really good at warming me up on camera, keeping it sexy while doing that, and like getting me into it and just listening to me. So I don't know. I think we just have really good on-screen chemistry, and it's like real. So,
Yeah, that's great. I mean, that's like, I definitely think pairing people with the right performers is everything for a good scene. So how do you generally prepare for anal? Like, how do you get yourself ready for a scene?
I'm so lazy. I am not crazy about it. Like, as far as like some girls have like 3-day long preparations. I eat whatever I want almost until the moment we're shooting. I will like adjust and not eat like beets or like a salad or like something like that. Like I'll end up eating more like bread and carbs and pasta and stuff the night before, and like the morning of I just have toast. And I take some Imodium in the morning. I clean out, stretch out, take another, and then like somewhere makeup happens. And then I take another Imodium right before. And then I tell the performer that my butthole is shy and to be nice to it. And then they just have to like kiss me and go really slow. Also coming right beforehand helps for some reason.
No, I know girls who bring vibrators to set who like get
Really?
themselves to orgasm first so that they're more like pliable and ready to go. I've seen girls do that. Yeah.
I don't think anyone even told me to do that. It happened one day, probably with Ramon. He probably made me come. And then I was like, wow, that was easy.
Yeah. Yeah. Makes a big difference.
Yeah. So I'll make myself come. And then I usually eat right before as well, because I have lessened my food intake and lessened my nutrients because I'm just eating like bread. So usually they'll have food or I'll bring food and I'll eat it right before. I don't care. And then just do the scene. And I think the more relaxed I am about it, and I clean out the night before fully, like overdo it. And then the morning of, I like barely rinse. Cause a lot of people put too much water.
And then it can get kind of stuck up there. Right. And then it can get dislodged during the scene.
And even if it's just water, you're like, oh my gosh, what's happening? So, so I don't really clean much the day of. I do it the night before. The day of is more just like stretching prep. And then it takes about 10 minutes into the scene where it looks fine, but like we're not being crazy. And then from like 10 to 30 or 40 minutes, they're just like, whoa, like you really settled into this.
Yeah.
So I like anal, but my butthole is picky, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. It's funny because I know that you're good friends with Joanna Angel, and we all know her as like the queen of angel. Well, she's also an angel, but she's the queen of anal, is what I mean. And she, it's funny because I had Ryan Keeley on, and Ryan Keeley was telling me about how Joanna gave her advice on like pasta and breads and everything, and telling her like you can eat, before a scene, because I think Ryan said one of the big reasons that she didn't want to do anal was because she didn't want to have to starve herself for like 2 days. She's like, I just can't, like, I'll get hangry. And so when Joanna disclosed to her, like, oh no, you can have like these carbs and stuff like that, she was like, she called it anal pasta, I think is what she called it.
That's cute.
And I actually, before I met my current husband, I was seeing somebody who was really large and liked anal. And I actually remembered calling Joanna and being like, Joanna, like I met this guy and he's really into anal. Like, I know that you have all the advice. Can you help me?
Yeah.
And
she does. She was one of the people that was like, I eat right before anal. And I was like, yeah, I eat breakfast. I have coffee in the morning. I don't care. I take some Imodium.
Yeah.
I know she does that as well. I worked with her yesterday, and we were going to do anal, and I backed out. I was like, hey, you know what? My butt's being mean to me today. We're not going to do it. And she's like, that's fine. It was content trade. So it was, there wasn't like something on the line. And she still did it. And I watched her eat an egg and a slice of cheese right before. Like she popped an Imodium, ate her breakfast, and then was like, okay, let's shoot.
Yeah.
And I think that lessening the stress on yourself, like really, really helps your body do what you want it to do. I shot with Kieran Lee. Browsers has like a new Gonzo thing, and they're getting all the tattooed girls and doing anal scenes for them, which is great because they're like finding space for us. And I told him, I was like, my butthole shy, blah, blah, blah. And we ordered food, and it was like California Chicken Cafe. It wasn't carbs. It was like vegetables and chicken. And I had already eaten my whole wrap, and he didn't see me. And I was like, oh, that dinner was so good. And I think he misheard me. I think he's heard like dinner smells good or something. He was like, oh, go eat. I don't care. I was like, Kieran, I already ate all of it. And he was just like smiled, and he's like, good girl. But it shows a level of comfortability with your body, and like, and the scene went great.
And as a performer, you need to learn to know your body.
And some people can't. I'm not saying it's like amateur to not eat.
Yeah.
Some people can't. I have to, or I will faint.
I
have nothing to work with. I'm very thin. So if I go 5 hours without eating, I'm going to be, getting lightheaded and a terrible performance.
Yeah, you don't want that. So both Kieran and Ramon are not circumcised. Do you find, I've heard that is easier for girls with anal. Have you found that to be true?
I have heard that to be true, and I have never thought about it. But everyone that's not circumcised is very easy. But also, I dated someone that was very into anal, like every day. Like I didn't even prep for it. My body was just ready all the time somehow for him. And he wasn't circumcised, and it was fine. Or he was circumcised.
He was circumcised.
He did not have foreskin, and it was fine. I think it more matters like the shape. Like if they're curvy or have a really big head, it can be an issue. But supposedly the foreskin creates less friction because it's absorbing some of their movement for you. But to be honest, I haven't noticed a difference in like the friction level. I think it's more just about getting like the head in, and sometimes having the skin there like just protects you a little.
Right, right.